Now, as was stated in the last video, I have decided for this moment that I'd come on and show how we carve the legs, and thankfully we've still got a piece of pattern or two in here from which we can demonstrate that. I will say I do think that pattern pieces are just disappearing all the time. We've kind of got to keep them together, make sure we know where they are, and probably got some in one of these places somewhere. And like we say, you know, what they do, they kind of vanish, you know. I say this work is just one little something that it's gonna kind of find its own way around here, going to the places where it wants to go. I say and there's another pattern piece we lost too. We'll see where they went. Hopefully they got lost in these papers that come with it. There's probably one or two we might have found here, but as for the inside piece that the legs go to, I'd say we're going to have to figure that out on our own sometime. So I've decided with what we have, we'll just go ahead and trace them out here. It's a shame that we don't have a certain piece we need to work along on this, but we kind of got it where this little work is coming along, making its way to us. I say, like we say, when you're doing it on black felt with the whiteout marker, you kind of try to do it light, because otherwise it'll kind of bleed through to the other side, and you don't want that. So I've decided we're going to trace both sides of this piece that the Bumblebee's 6 legs come from, and put it to good work and use for what we are here to do, I say, and make it so it's going to come out a little better and greater to begin with than we know. Luckily we didn't get any on the other side, but I'm going to go ahead and decide that I'm going to fold these tabs in. So that is really the best option we have at this point, because we can't find that other piece. But this is where we are going to apply in the work. And finally, we're going to go over to this other side as well, make these little lines in there, and then somewhere around here we have laid down those fabric scissors, hopefully not mislaid them somewhere that makes them hard to find, but I find them in the floor here. And then we're going to go about this, and here we've got them traced out. We are going to cut these lines along here and hopefully be able to say that I haven't wore these scissors out on denim so much that they can't cut felt. We did take a little cut a little too far there, but that can be made up for a little later when we come down to it, I say. And then we're making these little places where the cuts come along, make their way up a little bit greater days of all, and then down to the point where we get these last legs into to the other side of the bee. I say we work our way along this, and we're gonna cut these around these little tabs so we can also be able to sew around them. And this is the work we see it to be and need it to be. So finally, there's the places where we got about this. We've got to make, you'll also notice here that these little flat tabs are for attaching the legs, and these little pointed tabs are for either attaching the body or sewing the bee together. So we're gonna go about this, try to figure out the best place to put this, and I'd say we've got a place right here where it can go so that and try to make it so it's like this, so that these tabs that are white will be underneath, and try to put it in such a place. And you will want to sew these a little separate from when and where you sew the underside of the bee, because I'd say we've probably lost a needle here, kind of mislaid one somewhere, and I think everything's disappearing and vanishing on me left and right here. But I guess since we're done with the white thread, we'll take the needle off the white thread for now and use it for the black. And as for a little place where we're going to need to do a little demonstration here, it is best to try to line up the right tabs on the legs with the right tabs on the body. And you will also notice that the littler one is in the front and the bigger one is in the back, and that is how you're going to work it along. Did get kind of confused here because the other black thread is over here with a needle in it, but I've already gone this far, so might as well take it as far as we're going to take it. And so this is how we've done here. We've kind of got this little side here, and we're going to sew along that little tab there just like this, and put the little marking in there to make that little place so there shall be a little knot right in the middle, and then come back around and go the rest of the way here. We're going to kind of go from here up to where we get closer to the front and make the next little line that we make that goes in its place. I'd say we kind of got the thread looped around the piece of felt. We've got to get that undone, take care of that, make sure we got it out of there, because it's going to keep things a little too much in the way if we don't. And so finally, I tell you, this is taking so much video time here, wasting my minutes, and so we kind of get it in its place here. And so time to clip the other end of the thread so we can make sure we don't have it stopping us here, making us take it so it's not going to be in the very right place where it ought to be. And it's best to sew the legs onto the body first before you attach the underside to both, because it can be a big job to do all at once, and you need to make sure you get the right tabs in the right place, and it would be hard to see all the tabs if you tried to do the whole thing at once, tried to do all 3 layers at once. So this is the best way to go about it for now, and then kind of take it up to where it measures the next part. Get up to where you see that little line in the work. Kind of try to take it further till you can get it, the work to go in. Make it so it's going to be a little nicer and sturdier and heavier, and oh, the little work that shall make us all see better things to come for us, I say. Oh, this thing with the things you ought to know. We finally got the places where we're coming along this now. I do have in about an hour a doctor's appointment to attend to, so got to take care of that. And y'all probably know that by the time this series is uploaded to YouTube, it's going to be several videos in progress, because I'm recording them one at a time but not uploading them initially as I record them, because I'm kind of doing a lot of other work right now and not getting too much around to doing much uploading. So it's all going to kind of be taken care of in its very own time, and so it's one of those things where we see the work as it's going to come in, make it so we'll kind of make a little brighter light shine. Oh, and I say that this work is wonderful. It's kind of making little bees see happy thoughts and sing blessed words, I say. Oh, a little work shall come and make its way in, and so we finally come back to the middle tab, all the way to the other end of the middle tab, to make sure we got it all on secure, and got maybe 1 or 2 more little knots to make, and finally we'll be quite done with that, I say. And then we're going to kind of take it to the other side as well, make it so we're going to line up the big tab with the big tab and the little tab with the little tab of the legs on the body, and put a little strand of thread through and kind of make the knot so it's going to get a little shinier and brighter, nicer. Make it so we'll see how a little work brightens us and sees us in all things, I say. Preach all words. It's all going to be the things that happen tonight, with all like a little work in our and see how gracious we come to be. and come down to this. Hopefully we'll be doing a honeybee pattern in the future too, and you know, bees, and especially when it comes to honeybees, it makes me think of these toddlers I used to teach years ago in a church. And we had this little puzzle. We had a little wooden puzzle where on one of the numbers, when you pick up the piece underneath it in the hole to that piece of the puzzle goes in, there were some bees painted on there in that number. And these two little toddlers, they used to like to stick their hand down that hole and go bzzz, and pretend to get stung and pull it right back out and say, ow! So, see, there's a lot of silliness in this world, and it wasn't that many months ago that we were out in the summer or in the fall in the flower garden in the yard, and my little niece, you know, we were talking about bumblebees, so I showed her a bumblebee that was on a flower. I said, there's a bumblebee right there, I said, but don't touch it, it'll sting you. And she took my advice. She knew not to touch it. That was really good of her. So, as for how this bit of work shall come along, we'll see things as they do in the end. And we're not sure how much longer we're going to make this video last, because we've finally gotten over 16 minutes here, and I'd say in this one all we're going to do is sew on these legs, and then we'll pretty much be done for the day, or at least for this video. Might have a few more steps to come on later and show you all, but we'll be able to take care of them in their own little time. So we've got this good and well. So I'd say finally this is how we got the legs attached. It's just like this, and also like this. So, all the ideas I can think of for this. I tell you, one little thing coming to my mind is the possibility of taking some of this denim and felt and maybe even making a little spider for Halloween out of all the felt and denim I have. So that would be quite a wonderful thing to make. We'll have to look at one online to make sure I know exactly what I'm doing when I make it, but I do want to say that I appreciate the fact that you all come on here to watch. It is the end of the video now. I've got some things to take care of for the afternoon, but hopefully next time I come on to record, I'll have a little more to share, a little more to say, and so I'll be happy to do it when the time comes to show. Thank you for watching.